We back. We back. The DAR Hoops Hour is back in effect. DAR Sports Media. I am, of course, True. We got my man Tev here. We got my guy Lee. He is on a two-way contract right now. No longer Mr. 10-Day. You know what I'm saying? He's back in effect right now. Some of the other team might jump on with us at some point tonight. But we are back. The schedule was crazy last week. We could not get it done to get a hoops hour in because it's the holiday week. Obviously, everybody's busy. Everybody's got a lot of stuff going on. But we are back. Gentlemen, how y'all feeling? Tev, how you feeling right now, man? How you feeling about the current landscape of this NBA thing? How you feeling right now about these teams?
I'm feeling pretty. I want to say my predictions early in the season when I wrote an article about like what the East and the West landscape would be looking like. I'm kind of off. It's like some type of background noise, but I was kind of off on some of those predictions. But I'm very surprised by a few teams. Orlando, Lee gonna talk about that later. Houston is definitely surprising the hell out of me. I didn't see this coming. I knew they would be good, but not 2 seed good. So yeah, a lot of stuff has been surprising this season. Yeah, a lot of stuff has been surprising to me this season.
What about you, Lee? Well, how you feeling about everything right now? Anything standing out to you? Any team standing out so far? We got the NBA Cup coming up about a week or two from now. So, anything standing out for you, Lee?
Yeah, like what Tev said, Orlando without Paolo, they've won 12 of their last 13 without their superstar. And you know, when the news came down that he got hurt, we all knew Franz had to step up, and that's exactly what he did. And Jalen Suggs, he's putting in some good games as well. But they knew that it was going to take a team effort to get by this stretch until Paolo comes back, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, man. The Orlando Magic are rolling right now. They look, they look like one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference right now. On the flip side of that, the New York Knicks aren't looking like they're looking good in some cases. Some cases they don't look great. But with the Magic, Franz Wagner has looked like an all-star, all NBA caliber play. He's got to be an all-star this year, right? He's got to be, right? I think there's no way he misses the all-star game, right? I think that should be a given. But my question is, looking at the Eastern Conference right now, how many players in the Eastern Conference are better right now than Franz Wagner? I'm gonna start with you, Tev. Where do you think he ranks in this Eastern Conference during this stretch? Has he been like top 3 player in the conference during this stretch?
That's a great question. I'm trying to think of like all the players off the top of my head. I would say he's at the least been top 5 in the East.
Yeah.
If somebody was to tell me he was 5, I probably couldn't argue it until I thought of all the good players. But even when I do, I feel like he'll still be at number 5 for the season so far.
And if you had to give your 5 so far to the conference, it's just the Eastern Conference. Who would your 5 be so far this season?
I probably had to say no order. Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
No, Giannis. Mitch. Franz. And the last one, it's a toss-up between 2 people. I want to say Cat, but I want to say Trae Young.
Interesting. Trey. And
So
speaking of Trey Young,
we're gonna do that in the honorable mention. So those 6 right there.
okay. So speaking of Trey Young, the Hawks are starting to get a little momentum. But Lee, let me ask you, Franz Wagner, is he top 3, top 5 in the Eastern Conference this season so far? And who is your top 5 in the Eastern Conference so far?
He's definitely been playing like a top 5 player in the East. But my top 5 as of now, it would have to be Tatum, Giannis. Well, Tatum, Mitchell, Giannis, Franz, and LaMelo Ball.
Oh, I forgot about Melo. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
about him. I'm gonna take Cat out of there and go Melo. I'm going Melo.
Take Cat the fuck off of there. Take
I'm taking
Cat
Cat out of
the fuck off. Take Cat the fuck off of it.
Only reason I said Cat is because he's been helping New York come back up, man. They've been creeping back up. So
yeah, I gotta give Cat credit. You know what I'm saying? He's been playing well in his role. It disgusts me a little bit just because I'm not a Cat fan, but at the same time, he's been doing his thing. For me, I'm gonna agree with y'all. I would say, me personally, Giannis, Tatum, LaMelo, Franz, and Donovan Mitchell would be my 5 currently. I do agree with Trey. I do agree with Trey Young though, being honorable mention because he hasn't been like an insane scoring run that he's been on, at all. It's been a lot more so facilitating. He had like a 20 and 20 game just the other night. He's been stepping up, and big shout out to Jalen Johnson also. Let's not forget Jalen Johnson has been a very important part of what the Hawks are doing. Now, we got this NBA Cup coming up. The Hawks are kind of rounding into form. And these are not the teams that we think are going to win championships, obviously. But do we think the Hawks have a shot at? Because I got to check the record, but I saw Trey Young's face featured on a NBA promotional tool for the NBA Cup. Do we think the Hawks possibly have a chance to win this NBA Cup since we're almost there? Let me ask you, Lee. Let's start with you, Lee. What do you think? You think the Hawks got a shot to at least make it to the NBA Cup final?
I would say they do because Trey Young in these NBA Cup games, he's scoring okay, but his efficiency has not been great, and they're getting, I'd say, a surprise production from Jalen Johnson. I didn't think he would be averaging damn near 20, 10, and 5.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't. I mean, Bogdanovich has been kind of quiet this year. If they can get a game or 2 out of him, I feel like they can get to Vegas, get to that final in the NBA Cup. Onyeka Okongwu's been good. Clint Capella's been good. They are in the mix. They're good. They're good. I can see them winning the NBA Cup.
If the Pacers made it to the NBA Cup final last year and the Lakers won it, then anything is possible. And
Sure.
And Ted, what do you think, Ted? Do you think you think the Hawks got a shot to do something in the NBA Cup?
Realistically, probably not. Because I'm looking at the standings right now. Right, probably not. They 3-1, plus 15 differential. They play pretty well in the Cup games, but the competition that they're going to have to face leading up to the finals, probably not. Because And surprisingly, I'm looking at Detroit, who's 3-0. They got the second highest differential next to the Bucks, which is surprising. Like I said, everything been surprising this season. But yeah, I feel like the comp they'll have to face to get there, they probably won't. Now they could surprise me because everything been surprising, but yeah, probably not.
Well, I guess you mentioned the Bucks. I'm not happy right now, guys. I'm not happy. The Bucks have started to win again, and I can't shit on Doc Rivers like I want to right now. It hurts me. I have a tear rolling down my eye because guess what? I'm not praising Doc Rivers. I'm gonna give the credit to Giannis because he has been carrying this team as best he can. Dame had a couple good games too. Can't front on Dame time. You know,
game against Miami was crazy.
Yeah,
I hated to see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know that didn't sit well with you too much. But the Bucks are starting to roll. Do we think this means anything going forward, or is it just they're just hitting a period where they're catching fire and eventually they'll regress back to the mean, or is this a corner turn? What do you think, Ted? What do you think? You think the Bucks are finally rounding into form? They gonna storm back and start making some making some more noise, or is it just one of those good periods before they go back to another 4 or 5 game losing streak?
I would say they're on a 6-game winning streak right now, so they are rounding off into form. But like you said, Giannis he been doing a lot of carrying, like real backpacking, and we know he can do it. But how long can he hold that book bag up for? Like how long can it last? So I feel like at some point, maybe around like the 30, 40 game mark, they probably going to hit like another wall and then pick it back up, and then it's going to be a cycle. And then we all know the Doc Rivers tale. It's not really good in the postseason. So, I think at some point, like I said, around the 30, 40 game mark, they hit another wall.
Can't wait. Can't wait for that. Can't wait to see a Doc Rivers coach team go down in flames. Before I go to Lee, let's get Ax. Let's get my man Ax in here. Ax, you said in the chat just now they're okay. That's it. So how do you feel about the Bucks and Doc Rivers, a coach you have a lot of experience of seeing? How do you feel?
Well, Giannis is playing MVP level ball. I ain't going to take away from him on that. Dame has stepped up, but their lack of athleticism in the front court and on the wings makes me not concerned about anything they got going on. They're still an old ass team. Like they are all right, but like I'm not ready to put them ahead of Cleveland. I'm not ready to put them ahead of Orlando. They might win a series against Orlando due to Giannis, but I don't know. I'm not moved by that Bucks team at all. They're still old as hell. So I'm rooting for them to fail. I don't like how they did Coach Bud or Adrian Griffin. I'm not rooting for that team to succeed at all. So just going to keep it real, man. Like, hopefully they have a second round exit. And then we got to hope that Giannis stays healthy throughout the year, too. The past 2 years, he's been hurt right before the playoffs. He is in year 12. So he's playing at a high level now, but he's exerting a lot of energy to get them around 500. So we'll see how sustainable this is. Hopefully he doesn't sustain no injury, but I'm not moved by the Bucks at all.
Torian Prince not moving the needle for you, Ax. All right. Well, hey, man, hey, Brook Lopez, Torian Prince out there in the front court getting something done. Lee, what about you, man? How you feel about this Bucks team? And do you, like the rest of us on this panel, do you want to see Doc Rivers fail and continue to fail? Because I feel like we all want Doc Rivers to fail. I feel like that's, we're united as a group in wanting to see that. But do you feel like the Bucks are turning a corner, can turn a corner, can they make some noise? What do you think?
They're turning a corner now because Giannis is playing at, and like what Ax said, on an MVP level. But I don't think we need to be rooting for Doc to fail. He could just do bad all by himself with the decisions he'll make. How long this can last, we'll find out. We'll find out later on. I'm just wondering about Dame though. Like we still haven't seen Portland Dame yet, and I don't know if we're in year 2 in Milwaukee, and I'm not sure if we're ever going to see that dynamic duo that we've been fantasizing about since he got traded to Milwaukee.
Fantasizing the strong word there, Lee. But it's a strong word there, brother. But I don't think Portland Dame is too far away. I just think I think Portland Dame was asked to do so much on offense that we might not get to see him anymore because he has a partner that is better than him. And for Dame to have somebody that's better than him next to him, he has to kind of take on like a secondary role. And I think sometimes his offense can suffer, which I think you saw early on. He just didn't look like himself. He was struggling. I didn't think Dame really wants to be in Milwaukee. That's a whole nother story. I don't think he wanted to be there from jump. It's just kind of like, hey, I'm here, so I might as well do what I got to do. And I'm playing with one of the best players in the world. But it just doesn't feel like Milwaukee is a true contender. But hey, man, hey, let's hope for more downfalls of any Doc River coach team. And when he leaves this team, which will inevitably happen, the next team he goes to, I hope he fails with them too. I just want to see Doc Rivers fail. That's the hate in my blood for Doc Rivers.
Yo, he gets fired from Milwaukee, bro. They need to hit he need to just hit the golf course, just stay retired as a broadcaster, some shit, man. Like, no more coach opportunities for this nigga.
Do I need to say what I said the last time I was on here?
What?
Take him behind that shed.
Oh, yell at that nigga.
Tell him it's been an okay career, barely. And get him out of here.
I want y'all to realize when Doc Rivers get fired from Milwaukee and that nigga end up as the coach of the Phoenix Suns, out of nowhere, like we're gonna all be waiting for this nigga downfall. He gonna pop up as the Memphis Grizzlies next coach of fucking Phoenix Suns. Like whoever has a playoff, whoever losing the playoffs bad, all of a sudden that's gonna turn into a whole fucking that's gonna turn into a whole thing. So like I said, we are here waiting for the next Doc Rivers downfall. But we talked a little bit about the the Eastern Conference teams and the NBA Cup. Cleveland Cavaliers are rolling. They just beat the Boston Celtics. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Definitely a hell of a game. I know. Accident. Don't look too pleased about about that game, but hell of a game. The Cavs and the Celtics, man, to me, they're just both playing great ball. I mean, obviously, you put top two teams together. Obviously, one of them got to take the L. It was a close game. Celtics could not pull out the victory. But to be fair, if I'm not mistaken, Jaylen Brown didn't play, right?
He didn't.
Jaylen Brown or Derek White.
Yeah, so Derek White, Jaylen Brown. So, you don't want to take too much away from a game like that where, top players are missing. But do you guys feel like are the Cavs for real? Like, are they for real this year? Like, it feels like, and I know we haven't really got too much into it about the Cavs, but I'm gonna start with you, Lee, because you out there, you out there. So does it feel like this is something for real for the Cavs? Like, does it feel legit this year?
It does. It it feels all the more real now after that win against Boston, and you know it's got to feel very good when you got a guy that can take over like Mitchell can.
Mm.
Like when they were down 12 in that fourth quarter, and I would figure that'd be too much to overcome, but Mitchell flipped that switch in the fourth quarter, and there was nothing anybody in white could do anything about. And a couple underrated parts about that game. Garland also had like 22 points in that game, but also Jared Allen and Evan Mobley scored under 10, and they somehow won that game. It, you already know that team's on a different level when both of their bigs are playing at a high level.
Yep.
And they also got good bench production from Niang and Levert. That's what makes this Cleveland team different, and I feel like this is who they are. This is who they're going to be through the rest of the regular season and come playoff time.
Well, you definitely weren't wrong about Evan Mobley and Jared Allen not getting 10 points, because I know several brothers who had them for 10 points on their parlay, and they did not get that. I got several texts yesterday like, these niggas can't get 10 points, bum ass Cavs. So shout out to both Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They've been playing really good basketball this year as well. They've been very good complementary pieces. But let me ask you, Ax, what was your takeaway from that game, and how you feel about the Cavs? Do you feel like they could be in the conference finals or make it beyond the second round this year?
Well, I just put the disclaimer once again that Jaylen Brown nor Derek White played yesterday. But outside of that, I'm gonna give credit where it's due. The Cavs are definitely the second best team in the East. They have one of the best shooting guards in the league with Donovan Mitchell. Darius Garland, he looks better because last year he had the jaw injury. He lost 25 pounds. His grandma passed away. So he looks like recovered to all-star form this year. Evan Mobley is one of the better defenders in the league. Him and Allen form a good front court. I still think they got to hold it to 3. But Karis LeVert, he's good off the bench. Niang's a good piece. Ty Jerome's a good piece off the bench. So they have a legit top 8, and they're missing Dean Wade and Max Strus. So they're a legitimate team for sure. I'm not sitting here saying they trash nothing. I just don't think they're going to beat us in the series. Just to be real. But they do have a great coach in Kenny Atkinson, and this team signed through like 2029, if I'm not mistaken. Like all their core pieces are signed for the next 3-4 years. So they're legit. They're going to be here for a while. They got a lot of youth. And like I said, Donovan Mitchell, I said before, I think he's the most underrated, most disrespected player in the league. Like constantly in the playoffs every year on small markets. Like the teams that they surround him with before this year haven't really been that great. But shout out to Donovan Mitchell, shout out to the Cavs so far. They're legit. They're going to be in the playoffs as well, but they're not better than Boston. Just to be real.
Would not expect Ax to say anybody was better than Boston, regardless. Them niggas could have been undefeated. I don't think he would have said they better than Boston.
True. Can I add something? Real quick?
Yeah, good. Yeah, for sure.
I'm not able to say much, but I do want to point out Darius Garland put that boy Jason Tatum in a padded cell at the end of the game. And that's all I'm going to say. Darius Garland. Darius Garland.
He the guy Ax started. He got his
Jason Tatum. Rikers Island. That's all I'm going
to say. I will say this, though. As good as the Cavs are, the Atlanta Hawks look like them boys got their number right now. You know what I'm saying?
I can't explain that.
It's the Trae Young effect. I don't even know. Honestly, Jay put Jalen Johnson. I mean, the Hawks have some big bodies to kind of go out there and compete with the Cavs. So I think maybe that's what it all kind of boils down to. But hey, man, the Cavs do look legit this year. I looked at them as like a 5th, 6th seed this year when the year started. But it's looking like, barring like an injury or some drastic change and I want to just say, coaches leave the Golden State Warriors bench and then they go flourish.
When coach hold on. Kenny was nice at Brooklyn. It was just Kyrie and KD fucked him over.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But he go to Cleveland and motherfucking them niggas was breaking records and shit and going undefeated. Like I just obviously Mike Brown was also, let's be clear, Mike Brown was also a solid coach before he joined Golden State. It's just it seems like, and I brought this up to segue into my next topic. It seems like coaches who were on the sidelines, Golden State Warriors, are better off coaching their own team instead of sitting behind Steve Kerr. Because the Golden State Warriors started off on fire. They were like 12-2 or 10-2 or 12-3 or some shit. And then they've lost 4 straight, looking like they're probably about to lose 5 straight because they're going into Denver without Draymond Green. There's a couple things that can be said about this fall for the Golden State Warriors. And I want to go back briefly. I don't necessarily watch Draymond Green's podcast, but I saw a clip. And the clip said Terry Stotts was a great offensive mind, and he was running the offense. And that Jerry Stackhouse was their defensive guy, and he was keeping them focused on defense. And they look like a top 5 defense and a top 5, top 10 offense during this stretch. They played good teams. They beat good teams. They beat the teams they were supposed to beat, but we kept seeing cracks in the armor. We kept seeing, 30-point, 28-point leads get blown against Houston without Steph and without DeAnthony Melton. We know that without DeAnthony Melton for the rest of the season, it's almost a foregone conclusion they're going to trade his salary after December 15th, which is when they can do that. But there's a big issue. They lost to the Nets, a game that was winnable. They lost to the Spurs, a game that they had a big lead. They keep blowing these big leads, and their defensive habits are getting worse and worse. They look like the same team they were last year that did the same exact thing. I say all this to say, has something changed in the locker room? Because the vibes don't look as great as they did those first 10, 12 games. As they were saying, the vibes are immaculate. They were winning. They were doing great. Steph was jumping around happy. And then all of a sudden, Pods started getting, consistent minutes, and he's thinking up the damn joint. And then Moses Moody can't get a regular spot in the rotation. And Moses Moody had 15 points in was it the second quarter, or the first half of a game, and then he played 3 or 4 minutes in the second half. It seems as if the issue with the Golden State Warriors starts from one place. And this year, it's not Draymond Green and his antics, because Draymond has, for all intents and purposes, been fairly decent, keeping his mouth shut and been out of trouble. He gets a couple texts, whatever. That's Draymond. That's never going to change. But he's been trying to lead the defense, and for the most part, he's done a decent job. Steph Curry has not maximized what he can do so far. He's been kind of held off a little bit and, kind of been played only 29, 30 minutes. And he's got a nagging knee issue. Draymond Green will be probably out against the Nuggets because of a lingering calf issue. These guys are old. These guys are old players. They've been playing for a while. But the Warriors need them on the court to be successful. The issue is Jonathan Kuminga has not taken the leap that he needed to take, and hell, he can't even get consistent playing time either. My question, I'm going to start with you, Lee. Do you see the Warriors being able to turn around? Because we talked about a little earlier, they have a tough schedule. We talked about this before we went on air. You said they have a tough schedule, which they do. But this is the same team that, won 4 or 5 straight, got up, was 10-2 at one point. can they turn it around? And is this just like a small rough patch for them? And can they turn it around enough to compete with these teams that they're going to be facing? They got some games against Minnesota, Houston. They just lost to OKC. Do you see them being able to maybe steal a victory unexpectedly in Denver?
I think they can get one in Denver because Denver, you never know which Denver team shows up. Because, I mean, sure, they can beat the Lakers. They love doing that. But I saw Denver give up 145 to the Knicks not that long ago. So I feel like they can get one in Denver, but I mean, they host Houston and Minnesota on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, that Houston's been playing better ball, and Minnesota, they just trying to get right after losing 4 of their last 5. But in Golden State's case, it all depends on the health of Steph Curry. Because even at 35, 36, he's still offensively what makes that team go. And he's been going through like some minor knee pain. That's why he like missed the last game or the last couple of games. If he can get back, then that will make everything else. That should make everything else go.
Yeah, I agree on that. Steph is the engine. Tev, you just wrote an article about Andrew Wiggins and his kind of return to form a little bit. What do you think about the Warriors? What do you think they have a shot to turn it around and right the ship? I mean, we see that they are in every. It's not like they're getting blown out at all by any team like that. They can make it close, even if they are losing. They can make it close. I think, except the last game, I think they had a fake comeback against the Suns, but in those 4 losses, they had 2 big leads. They lost. They had 2 leads. They lost. Then they came back and were almost, about to beat the Thunder without, I think, Steph. So, do you think it's just a matter of them just connecting all the dots, or are they completely cooked regardless?
I'm 50-50 right now just because I know how this team operates, especially with Stephen Kerr on the bench running the lineups. Like you said, JK, Moody, the sudden minute restrictions, weird to me. Wiggins returning to form is definitely a plus, though. Like I said in my article, he's averaging 17, 4, 5, and 2, and recently has been having some amazing games to keep them within reach of winning, but it's not enough. Buddy Hield kind of gave us a Cinderella story in the beginning. He was perfect. He damn near could do no wrong, but he's been kind of inconsistent lately. Steph and his injuries. I think once they figure out, like, once Steph gets healthy, Dre, his stuff gets healthy, his knee, whatever's wrong with, I can't remember what's wrong with Dre right now, but once he gets healthy, I think they can remain mid-level. My problem has always been with the front office not getting them a second ball handling shot creator since JP left. That was always my problem. I knew it was going to happen every single year after JP left because they don't have anybody to handle the ball and create quality shots next to Steph.
They thought Podziemski was going to be that guy.
He never had the potential to even, he never looked like it.
I don't know what the fuck them niggas thinking.
I don't know what they were thinking with that, but.
Well, wait. I know what they was thinking.
I know what they was thinking. I know what they were thinking.
Everybody want they one. Joe Lacob was like, I got one like us. One like us, I can put out there. He can go out there and handle the ball. Like, nah, nigga, you ain't getting your own Luca. You ain't getting your own. You ain't even getting your own white chocolate. You're not even getting that. Like, you're not even getting that. So, all right. So, Ax, what should take Ax on this on this Warriors slow descent into hell right now? Is what it is. What do you think?
Well, Celtics fan, I'm happy, but as a basketball fan, I think D'Anthony Melton being injured really hurt them because he was playing well in the limited minutes that he was out there. I think Paz regression has been a problem because they keep like trying to force him to play a lot of minutes. I feel like Moody and Kuminga's better, so I don't understand what Kerr got going on with that. And from what I heard, they said Stackhouse's defensive system requires like a lot of energy being exerted, and they feel like that's why it's a little bit of slippage going on. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not as tapped in as like you or Tev with the Warriors, just to be honest. They say like with Stackhouse system, like you exert so much energy, sometimes you fall into slumps. They say that's the reason why you got to let go with Vanderbilt. So combination of things. And then the roster just kind of old too. So need to implement the youth a little bit more. Probably need like a better front court presence too, like a scoring threat in the front court. I feel like that's something that's missing Golden State. Trade deadline. I mean, I don't know exactly how salaries match, but they can get somebody like, even though he's kind of soft, he is a front court presence that can score. DeAndre Ayton, maybe a front court player like that. I don't know who else on the market. You got Gucci Mane that's on the market. I heard he's going for 2 second round picks. So something like that. Y'all need a front court presence, in my opinion.
That was my next guess, Vucevic.
I actually think the Vucevic trade is probably going to happen, just because I like the Bulls are trying to do a fire sale. They could get rid of Levine, Vucevic, and Torrey Craig, and hell, any whoever mama live in Chicago. They try to get rid of whoever they can get to go. I just don't know if Vucevic is necessarily the answer, but someone who's averaging 20 and 10 currently and is shooting, I think, 50-some% from the field, 40-some% from three. It'll be a different look for the Warriors, but I feel like for Terry Stotts, if Terry Stotts is doing a good bit of the offense for them, I feel like a shooting big man could be helpful. You know, they need somebody who can rebound. Vucevic is a solid rebounder. He can score as well. He's not a defensive presence, and I don't know how Stackhouse and running defense. I don't know how that's going to work. I know some people are talking about the possibility of a Cam Johnson and I know Ax mentioned DeAndre Ayton. I know for a fact, salary wise, they have 3 salaries that they could look to trade. The problem is, and these are 3 salaries over $8 million. D'Anthony Melton makes about $13 million. You could trade Gary Payton II, who has not really been doing very much or showing very much this year. He makes about $9 million a year, and then you got Kevon Looney, who makes $8 million. So if you want to package those 3 together, that's about $31 million. They can't really bring in any extra salary, so there's a possibility that they could do something with that. Or if you just want to get, you get Vucevic, you can take a Melton salary, tackle on a couple picks, add a Gary Payton, and then bring in Vucevic, and then try to take somebody else's salary and maybe trade for somebody else, or like a 2-guard, or at least somebody decent. Or you can, also try your hand at the free agent market.
Pacers keep slumping too. That's another guy. It's the final year of his contract. He can shoot in the rim. Like Miles Turner could be a good option.
Yeah, so like they have options, and I actually think this is the year that they're going to make a trade. They typically don't make trades. I think this year, because Steph is he's been pretty adamant about wanting to compete, and the start that they got off to. Luckily, they did get off to the start that they got off to, and a lot of teams also suck right now in the West, or can't get enough momentum. Because the Warriors could be in a lot worse position right now at 12-7, and they are still, middle of the pack, and all it takes is 3 or 4 wins, and you're right back up there in that top 3, top 4, and get you a little bit of comfort. So I think they'll be okay if they can make some trades. And like I said, obviously we're in game 20. Nothing is decided at game 20, but there are some habits they need to fix. and they need to get pods off the damn floor.
Please.
But
Please, I'm begging.
But another team in the West that is experiencing some struggles of their own, and they were saved by a timeout the other night, and they're currently playing as we're doing this. The Los Angeles Lakers have started off very hot, and they looked like they were, they're formidable. Braun is, obviously the man is like 40, 45 years old. He's been playing for 37,000 years. He's an old man, obviously, but he's still playing. He's still playing good ball. Obviously, for his age, he's still playing really well. But Anthony Davis is still having MVP-like numbers. It just hasn't translated into wins like that. And the Nuggets put a whooping on them boys, and they lost a couple. They lost a couple of games, but they almost lost to the Utah Jazz. I think Colin Sexton was about to game them last night, and then he called a timeout right when he was about to make his move. I don't understand the point of calling a timeout with like 2 seconds left.
They want to catch the flag, True. You know that.
Yeah, I know what they was thinking, but it's like, come on, man. I was waiting to see the Lakers lose. I was like, man, they about to lose because the Lakers was up by like 5 or 6, and then they just let it slip. And they let a couple games slip, that night where AD missed all them free throws and they couldn't maintain free throws. They end up losing. Like they've had games where they shout out to Franz Wagner too for he gamed them boys as well. That was an amazing shot. But the Lakers, obviously, because they are a LeBron-led team, they're obviously going to be in trade talks. I saw somebody say to trade D'Angelo Russell and Gabe Vincent for Jordan Poole. Not sure who that really benefits in terms of money. Because not sure who that really benefits there. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love JP. I think JP is a great offensive player, but LeBron James playing next to Jordan Poole with all the mistakes that Jordan Poole makes, brother. You think Braun is bad when she got teammates who was dog shit? Look, I'm gonna just say, if Draymond punches nigga, who knows what LeBron gonna do when they get into it? I don't. Like,
that's crazy.
Like, who knows? And he got his son with him too. LeBron, it might jump the nigga. You don't know. So, like, I don't know what is gonna happen there, but I will say, I do see the Lakers trying to make a trade. It's just that they don't have a lot of attractive assets. Honestly, I mean, Roy Hachimura ain't playing like he did for that brief period where they looked pretty good. Gabe Vincent left Miami, and he just Shamar Moore on the court now from Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Yeah, man, I don't really know what they have. But I ask y'all anyway. I'll start with Tev. Do you see the Lakers making a substantial move, and is it a move that they can make that could really take them to another level, or they just gonna be middle of the road for most of the season?
I think they will end up making a move. I'm not sure what that would look like. They probably try to come off of D'Angelo Russell, but I don't think it'll be something substantial just because, and I might get some type of hate for this. It's a LeBron-led team. At the end of the day, everything got to run through him, and at some point, somebody gonna do something crazy or mess the game up somehow, and morale is just gonna be down, just like it's the story every year. And yeah, I don't see them really going anywhere besides middle of the pack, play in. Where they've been the past 2-3 years. It's always gonna be a different scapegoat every single year with a LeBron-led team. So yeah, I don't really see them doing much.
Well, I'm calling the scapegoat out right now. It's Gabe goddamn Vincent, and I'm going to shit on Gabe Vincent every chance I get. With them dusty ass braids. I'm sick of you braided head, light skinned niggas. I'm tired of y'all. But no. But
hey, Pat Riley sent him in to do the job, bro.
Hey,
really
you know what?
Go there.
Yeah, he's selling. He's selling them, and cool. Keep on the team. Keep on the team. I will say this. Shout out to Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect is a really good pick. I hate the fact that the Lakers got him. honestly, just because, you know what I'm saying, a fire white boy who can go out there and hit threes, and he has some of the most outrageous scoring barrages. You know, like he just has the most outrageous scoring barrages I've ever seen. So,
For a rookie,
good,
like that.
yeah, good pickup for the Lakers. I hate giving him credit, but yeah, yeah, man. Lee, what you think, man? What do you think? I know you got a lot of love for this Lakers team. You know what I'm saying? Fuck them, but you got a lot of love for them. But what do you think? You think they're making a trade? What do you think?
I don't know what move they could make. Like, of course, D'Angelo Russell's been rumored to be traded for a while now, but where are you going to trade him to, and who are you going to get in return? Like, who are you going to get in return that's going to help you win this year, or at least have a chance to win this year? Because, I mean,
The Levine sweepstakes. That's the only player I can think of. Maybe Zach Levine.
that could work. That could work.
He made 45, like almost 45 million. though. That's a who like salary wise, who they even got? You know that you can really. They got to package everybody together. They got to package.
Yeah, I think ain't D'Lo the Golden Lord making like 24 mil this year, and then
I think he made like 17 to 18.
Oh yeah, 18.
Yeah, I think
Vanderbilt ain't play in a minute, but he was double digit millions too. And shit, I don't know. I don't want them to succeed at all, but I'll let Lee finish. I didn't mean to cut Lee off. My bad, you.
Oh no, you good. Yeah, I'm just racking my brain to see, like, to think what could they do to put them in championship contention, and I just don't know unless LeBron can turn the hands of time and AD stay playing that MVP level. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really see it.
So my thoughts about the Lakers, really flawed roster, lack of defenders, lack of athleticism on the wings. D'Lo very inconsistent. They really do need a center. If the Warriors don't trade for Bucci Mane, that's a team that needs to trade for him. Put AD back at the 4. Because the Bulls, they accept stupid ass trade offers all the time. So you ain't gonna have to have even value with trade. You're seeing what they did with Caruso and Josh Giddey. So I don't know, man. Like, I just find it interesting because JJ Redick was talking spicy about Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. And the Lakers started off pretty good, but they've been losing recently. So I'm interested to see how he adjusts to adversity. He was talking real spicy about motherfuckers. I don't know. And then LeBron, this is the first year he looks like year 22 LeBron. Like, he got them rim grazing ass dunks. Respect, dude. This is the best year 22 nigga I ever seen in my life. So I'm not dissing or nothing, but you see, like, the writings on the wall.
The only year 22 nigga I think we ever seen really in the NBA.
Like, oh man, he was barely getting out there. And then you got Kareem had like the thick ass knee pads on and everything. So everybody else year 20 finished. So shout out to Bron, all time great, one of the GOATs. Like, AD, what's the best? I heard something earlier. They said in the fourth quarter, LeBron is taking 97 shots, AD is taking 60, and Austin Reeves is taking 54 in the fourth quarter. So why is Austin Reeves that close to Anthony Davis in the fourth quarter as far as shot attempts? That's egregious to me. So they might have to put Austin Reeves on the market. If they want to get a quality player back, he might be the one to go because you got Dalton Connect, who looks so good. Like, for any value, I think Reeves might be the guy that might have to go. He's a good player, but you gotta give to get, you know.
No, that's true. That's true. Like I said, I don't want to see the Lakers succeed in anything, so I'm hoping that nothing good goes for them. You know, I hope nothing goes good for them. I hope they, hope the bad things in life happen to them and nobody else but them. However,
I second that statement.
Yeah. However, outside of the Lakers, the Western Conference got some interesting stuff. We talked a little bit about the Nuggets. Jokic is playing obviously at a MVP level. So I got to ask you, about 20 games in, so far, if you had to make an MVP leaderboard right now, who would be at the top of your list? Shout out to Ted for he just put out a Jokic article today, doing some nice numbers. But Ted, who would you put at the top of the MVP leaderboard right now? 20 games in.
Uh, like I said in my article, I think Jokic is actually at the top. Just because of their record and where they are in the scene, I wouldn't realistically. Um, Crazy enough, I would probably have to say I really hate this answer, but probably Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he has the Celtics 2 seed, more than likely will be 1 seed at some point. Playing phenomenal. Realistically, he has the best team of all the people that I would put in contention for it. So unfortunately, I got to say JT.
Jason Tatum. Okay. Lee. Lee, who you got, bro?
Um, I got Tatum. Yeah, I got Tatum in high on my MVP leaderboard. Also, Anthony Davis, Donovan Mitchell should be up there too. Um, uh,
Can't forget Shea. I was gonna say Shea, but
Shea. He's another one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shea. This guy, he's almost a guaranteed 30. And y'all notice that he's shooting more threes than he did last year.
yep.
This league, man. Everybody want to shoot these damn threes.
And
shoot damn threes.
and I don't know who to put in that fifth spot because so many stars in our league have gone through like different injuries and missed some action at one point in time.
Yeah.
But those would be my top four. Maybe Giannis would be in that fifth spot, but
I was gonna say Giannis would be a good potential, but obviously the Bucks. I don't want the Bucks to succeed, so obviously that's another thing. But no, I think Giannis is a good choice for MVP candidate right now. I will say though, a little disappointed in the Minnesota Timberwolves this year.
mm-hmm.
Julius Randle obviously not the best fit for them, even though he's been scoring. It's from more of an attitude perspective than I think than anything. I think when I watched Julius Randle in New York, Julius Randle could go out and hit two to three threes in a row, put the Knicks up by 5 points, win the game, and everybody happy. Jalen Brunson jumping around, you got Josh Hart and he jumping around, and Julius Randle got a mean mug on his face. He got attitude, and he just won the game. Like smile, nigga. Like smile.
Yeah.
You just won the game. Like smile, nigga. Like what are you doing? Like what's happening? So I don't understand what Julius Randle's issue is. Like I don't know what's wrong with the nigga, but his attitude seems to bring down teams at times, and I think that the same could be said for Minnesota. Obviously, Dante DiVincenzo does not want to be in Minnesota. That's another name that I heard kicked around as a potential, somebody who could be traded to a team. I don't know exactly where he would fit or who he would fit for, but there's always that chance, I guess, that you could do something with him. But I guess my question is with Minnesota, do y'all feel like they can turn it around? Or is it kind of just is that just kind of it? Like it's like they are who they are. There's nothing gonna change. Let me start with you, Lee. Do you feel like Minnesota can get some momentum under them and kind of get a win streak going and kind of get themselves back into a comfortable spot in the West?
I think they can, but like what you just said, it's an attitude adjustment with Julius Randle, and you would think he'd be happier to play in Minnesota because he looked miserable in New York at times. You would think a new change of scenery. He's playing with a future face of the league and Anthony Edwards. You would think so, but that one moment where it was a tie game, 5 minutes left in Toronto, and he refused to pass the ball to Rudy Gobert, even though he was open, sealing Scotty Barnes. And
Rudy wouldn't cut that shit no way, but yeah.
I get it, but I mean that just shows some unselfishness, and I mean that's where the whole problems of that team started. It started with that play, and then it's had a trickle down effect ever since. But I'm hoping that they can. It's a long season. I'm hoping they can get back to playing defense, because that's how they got to the Western Conference Finals last year. They were a great defensive team, and this year they're like middle of the pack.
Yeah, they don't look like a great defensive team. What you think, Tev? You think the Wolves can get some momentum?
Kind of like Lee said, I think it comes from an attitude adjustment with Julius Randle, and I think everybody else. I think he's bringing the mood down to like surround it with everybody. But yeah, it starts with him, because I think Anthony Edwards he's a good leader. He's starting to mold himself into a better leader. He's still got more years to go, but I think, like Lee said, the attitude adjustment needs to come with Julius Randle, or they stay middle of the pack. Also, Rudy Gobert.
You good? You good? No, you say Rudy Gobert. Look, This is Rudy Gobert slander fest for me. I slander him every chance I get. Taking out on the show, so
he definitely adds to the funk fest when it comes to attitudes. He's a subtle, sassy nigga. That's what he is. Very sassy. You just gotta gotta pay attention to it.
Yeah, yeah. The funniest thing I think is I forgot who it was, but Julius Randle and somebody, they were going at it, and Julius Randle was talking. I'm mad I can't remember who it was right now, but Julius Randle.
Boston 99, Jay Crowder.
Oh, Jay Crowder, yeah, that who they pulled that nigga off the street and put him on a team. Like, all right, that's cool. But he was talking with him, and Rudy Gobert the whole time is just smiling. The niggas arguing, and I don't know why. That just pissed me off. Like, seeing him, like, just pissed me off. I was just like, stop smiling. What the fuck you smiling for, nigga? Like, what you smiling for? Like, what's wrong with you? But I realized that any team with Rudy Gobert is gonna have some issues. Obviously, any team with Julius Randle is gonna have some issues. Putting them two in the front court together is a recipe for disaster. So, at least with a guy like, somebody like Cat. Cat is obviously one of the best shooting big men we've ever seen. He is an efficient shooting big man, whereas Julius Randle, he can give you 3 or 4 threes one night and then go 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 the next night. Not that Cat can't do that either, but Cat is a little more consistent. So, Ax, what
Cat
you think?
Performances for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So I don't want to give Cat no credit for nothing. What you think, Ax?
Real briefly, as far as MVP races, definitely Jokic. I probably got Mitchell at number 2, because what he's doing in Cleveland is something different. I'll probably put Tatum at 3, but it's like between him and Mitchell for sure. Because Tatum is leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists, like 29, 8, and no, it was 29, 9, and 7. That's pretty impressive. So shout out to that.
For sure.
But as far as the Wolves is concerned, I think they need to implement the young guys more. Like Mike Conley, good career, but he's a little bit over the hill at this point. They need to play Rob Dillingham a bit more. they need a little bit more shooting too. And Jalen McDaniels' regression, that's been a problem too. He was supposed to take a leap offensively. He's supposed to be a 3-and-D guy. He's just kind of pedestrian out there. That's holding them back. They don't play fast enough. Like, that's my issue with the Bulls. Like, a lot of half-court ISOs, slow. Like, Ant-Man, he is hitting threes at a high clip, but they need to play to their strengths and, like, play Shannon Jr. more, play Rob Dillingham more, implement the youth, because Conley, at this point in his career, he needs to be a backup, in my opinion. Rudolph Gobert, he's been defending fairly well, but I don't like him calling for post-up Steve. It's like, bro, you got brick hands. You ain't got no go-to move down there. I kind of dig it. I understand why you frustrated that he didn't pass it to you, but
you won't catch the shit no way. Like, try the shit anyway.
Right, we'll see how that duo works out. They're up on the Lakers by double digits. Thank goodness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I mean, I don't know, man. I think they could turn it around. But they're gonna have to quick because the West is really, really competitive, and you can't have too many losing streaks. Like, you can't sustain too many 4-game losing streaks and be straight in the West. That's not gonna happen. But it's still time.
You just brought up an actual good point that brings me to kind of the Lakers and Warriors. We talked about their problems. You said Minnesota doesn't play fast, and they have some athletes on the team that they can play fast. And I think the age of the Lakers and the Warriors started off playing very fast pace. Those first 10 games, they play very fast pace, and now they look slow and old as shit. So I think there might be something to what you said about Stack's defense kind of expending so much energy because they look slow, ragged, and old. And whereas the Wolves are not an old team per se, but they look slow. They don't look, and I believe that is a Julius Randle and Rudolph Gobert. You know, Rudolph the French nosed reindeer, as you know what I'm saying. Like, I think you got those two guys in the front court. You can't get fast breaks. You can't get out like that. You know, you can't really get out like that. You need guys that can run. And those aren't two guys that can run. So that's actually a good point that you brought up, X. Real quick because I want to save the last segment for these Rockets because they've been surging. Before I do that, I got two teams that I feel like are on the opposite trajectory in the West. The Sacramento Kings have been struggling. The San Antonio Spurs, however, have been surprisingly rising to the occasion recently, and they are, I believe, over 500 now, if I'm not mistaken. And they look pretty good right now. They have some big victories. Shout out to my man Castle out there. Shout out to Chris Paul for being the old nigga leader that he is. And Wemby has turned it up, man. Ever since Wemby hit that 50-point game, it's like he's been consistently just in his bag. So, let me ask y'all: do any of y'all feel like the Spurs can do any damage at all this year? Maybe win a playoff series. Maybe get into the play-in and win a play-in game. Whatever your definition of damage is to you. I'm gonna start with X. I'll start with X first. What you think, X?
I definitely think they can get to the play-in game. Wemby's playing at a great level. Castle's starting to find himself. Harrison Barnes has found the fountain of youth randomly. He's been playing well. You got Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson occasionally give you a good game here and there. They're solid enough to be a play-in team. I don't have them winning around though. I just don't see that. I don't think they're equipped for that. But they are playing much better. They look pretty cohesive. They defend at a high level. They need to play a little bit faster, in my opinion. But you got Chris Paul there, so that shit probably ain't gonna happen. But I mean, I like what they're doing so far. Shout out to the Spurs for playing at a pretty good level. I respect what they're doing right now.
Ted, what you think, man? How you feel about the Spurs? And I guess I'll come back around to you, X, and ask you about the Kings. But yeah, Ted, how do you feel about the Spurs and the Kings? Because they seem to be two teams. They just played each other the other night. They seem to be on two different trajectories right now. The Kings are really struggling. Even though shameless plug, Tev had a amazing article on De'Aaron Fox. Let's make sure everybody knows that. Make sure you go to the Medium site and make sure that you check that one out. But yeah, what do you think about the Spurs? You think they could potentially get into the playoffs, potentially get to the play-in, and do you think the Kings can get some wins under their belt as well?
I'm gonna keep it short and brief with the Kings. I don't think they can. They may be able to creep themselves into like a 10 seed. Maybe. I really don't see much potential with them right now. De'Aaron Fox is playing at a high level, and he's almost like having a Giannis effect right now, where he's carrying them tremendously, and it's not gonna mow well for them at the toward the end of the season. San Antonio, I think they can stay in the play-in. They currently have the 10 seed, and with the competition that they would have to face at this point, no, they're not winning around at all. But I'm glad that Wemby has definitely taken off, especially after that 50-point game. Chris Paul is helping him really get in the rhythm. Don't like giving Chris Paul credit, but yeah, I think they can remain play-in, and that's pretty much it. I don't think they'll win around in the play-in at all.
Got you. Lee, what about you? What you think? Spurs and Kings. You feel any potential success for the Spurs, and can the Kings get it together? It's a lot of competition in the West, so you think they can get it together?
I think we kind of knew what the Kings were going into this season, that they was just going to be solely offense. Like they're just going to they have to outscore people to win games. For that, they can still be a play-in team, but I don't know if they'll get past the play-in. For the Spurs, I don't think they could be a play-in team too, but I don't think they'll get past the play-in either, because they're still so young. Even though they have experienced guys like Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul, they still have to get some experience within themselves, like the Castles, the Wembys, Vassell. Sohan hasn't came back yet from whatever injury he's dealing with. So yeah, I think their potential is playing, but can they get there? We'll find out.
Right. Last question, and I'll come back to ask him. I'll go to X last, that way he can give his thoughts on the Kings and this team. The Houston Rockets are surging right now. They look like a well-oiled machine. They are playing great basketball on both ends. They just picked up a big victory against the Oklahoma City Thunder, which was built obviously as the 1 versus 2 seed, like they did with the Cavs and the Celtics. Same day. It was like one of the first times we've seen that in a while on the same day. I'm gonna go back to you, Lee. Start with you. How do you feel about this Houston Rockets team? And what is their ceiling? Because obviously Jalen Green is still kind of inconsistent. Fred VanVleet can go out there and get you 38 in a random game, and then the nigga completely play like dog shit the next game.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, you got Sengun out there. You got some players out there. I mean, we don't acknowledge Dylan Brooks over here, but but they got a lot of players over there who they can compete, and they're playing well, and they are well coached, obviously. But what do you think their ceiling is, and what do you make of them kind of being where they are right now?
They have to be one of the more surprising teams in the league, if not the most. You mentioned all the guys like Jalen Green, who is inconsistent, but who's very consistent is Sengun. Sengun almost had a triple-double last night against OKC. And with everything they have going right now, they can make the playoffs, but that would be asking a lot for them to win a playoff series as young as they are. I feel like a couple years from now, with this same core, they could be OKC now. But if they do, I would be surprised if they win a first round series this year. Just because they haven't been there before.
Yeah. Ted, what you think, man?
As I said earlier, and Lee just said, this is probably one of the more surprising things this season. Like I said, I had them, I think in my initial article, I had them around 8th seed, 9th seed play-in team, but being at the 2 seed is extremely shocking. It's Şengün, he's averaging 19, 10 boards, 5 assists. A lot of people, especially last year, were calling him a mini Jokic. So I think that's kind of sticking right now with the way he's playing. Tari Eason is definitely like a great energy player. I think he's leading the league in steals, or he's top 3 in steals right now. Jabari Smith and Min Thompson definitely providing good minutes for them. Not giving Van Vliet any credit, but but they've been playing extremely well and cohesive. And being at the 2 seed, like I said, is shocking. But I think they could sustain it, and maybe they could stay top 6. Maybe, probably will. But I think they will be able to sustain this level of play or close to it. And in terms of a playoff series, probably not. They're too young. As Lee said, they probably end up just like OKC in a couple years, as long as they keep the same core. But definitely a shocking development for them to be number 2 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if they want to win a series, they just got to put Dre in the front row, and you know what I'm saying, let niggas go out there, and Jalen Green gonna average 35. You know what I'm saying? Average 35 for a whole series. You got Dre. I mean, nigga, I would try to average 35 if she was out there. Granted, she a cougar and a chaser, but fine is fine, brother. Fine is fine, brother. Fine is fine. Look, you know what I'm saying? But let me ask you, the Rockets, and also double back real quick to the Kings. You think the Kings can turn it around and get themselves in a playoff position? And do you think the Rockets are for real this year? You on mute, brother?
My fault. As far as the Kings, they're definitely in trouble because De'Aaron Fox is a free agent after this year. He didn't sign an extension. I heard it's because he wanted more money, but he's probably frustrated at being overshadowed in sack, and them California taxes is crazy. So that's a development to look at if they don't improve. The DeRozan signing, he hasn't been as healthy recently. They got talent, but I'm worried about the defense. Keegan Murray hasn't played as well as expected. Malik Monk, he's been hurt, but when he's played well. I'm concerned, man. They might need a coaching change with Mike Brown. I don't know. Something just a little bit off with this Kings team this year, man. But they had that one playoff run, so they're going to try to still build. But I don't know, man. Something just a little bit off. I expected them to be a little bit better than what they've shown so far. I didn't expect them to be 4 games on 500. They got to turn it around quick because De'Aaron Fox's great games are going to waste, and it's unfortunate. He's a hell of a point. And as far as the Rockets, I did predict them as like the 7 to 8 seed. I didn't see the number 2 seed. They got great balance, like from Şengün, who's their best player to me. Jalen Green's inconsistent, but he's been playing a little bit better recently. Amen Thompson is a great defender. Him and Tari Eason wreak havoc as soon as they come off the bench. They called him a terror twin for a good reason. I'm not really big on Jabari Smith, especially since he was like a top 3 pick. I'm not a huge fan of him. But, Fred VanVleet, he'll give you some good minutes. Dylan Brooks, I know he's disliked on this pod. But he plays a good role, good energy. And I think it's sustainable. I do think they need to make a trade. Like maybe get Cam Whitmore out of there for like one more piece, maybe a backup big. I'm not sure. but Houston's definitely legitimate, and they're ahead of schedule. So I think they get a playoff spot this year. Ime Udoka's a great coach, elevates guys. That team defends at a high level. They lock in. They don't have a closer. That's why I don't believe in them in the playoffs. Like Fred VanVleet can only close so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, but they're a good team. They might be able to get a round one win, depending on the matchup. But I could see them being out of the playoffs in the first round. But that's progress. And they did finish last year pretty well. They finished 41-41. They went on like a long win streak they had. They was knocking on the door for a playing spot last year. They just started off too bad, but they're building off that momentum from last year, man, and they believe in what Coach Udoka is teaching, and they play with great energy, man. Effort is a huge part of the game that's missing with a lot of teams, and they'll fucking fight you out there, man. So shout out to Houston. I think they're a playoff team.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Houston Rockets. Shout out to everybody that will listen to this podcast, and of course, shout out to everybody on the squad, DAR Sports and Media. Hoops Hour. We missed y'all for a week. We back at it. We had a lot to catch up on. Make sure you check out my man Axe, of course, and the Hoop Panel. Make sure you follow my guy Lee Harvey at Music Fan for Life. He posts a lot of like sports, music stuff. Make sure, of course, you follow my guy Tev at Tev_bands. Don't follow me on Twitter. I don't want you to follow me. Don't follow me at all. But shout out to the rest of the team. Shout out to Apollo. Shout out to Tay. Of course, we will be back with football this week, NFL and college football. There might be another World of Wrestling soon as well. Make sure you check out the World of Wrestling. It just dropped. Also, got a couple other things in the works. But, of course, the crux of all this is the Medium site. It is booming. It is going crazy right now. Shout out to Tev. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Scotland. Shout out to myself, of course, for the articles. Shout out to everybody. And shout out to David as well. He got some articles coming this week, I believe, as well. So shout out to the whole team. We rolling right now. Numbers is doing lovely. Everything is on the up and up. Make sure you check out PSA 2. That's Apollo, my guy Shaggy, and Pegs. That's their new album. They got PSA 2. Make sure you check out Silver Vinyl 6 and Time is of the Essence. Non-stop greatness, non-stop content, because the world of DAR never stops. Cut that shit off here.